I'm not on mute. I don't know what the hell was going on, but I'm assuming nobody heard nothing. Peace and blessings to everybody that just popped in case y'all didn't hear me at first. Apologies, having technical difficulties. The weather is a little bit I thought it was about to rain out here, but it's not. Cowboy, what's going on? James, what's going on? All right, I didn't know that part. I don't know. I had to be sure. 'Cause, once I don't see something moving, I got a problem. But I'm sorry. That notion of you gotta just be digging for the wallets, that should stop because in the long run, even if you happen to find somebody, after a while they ain't gonna want you just be, oh yeah, I want this. Oh, you gotta give me this for this. No. Once I give you something, that should be it. As far as, oh, this is what you need here. I shouldn't be looking up and not even the next day. Well, babe, I need this for this. No, 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 no. Wait a minute. I just gave you a decent amount to go do what you had to do and still keep some in your pocket. Like, it's not trying to sound funny. It's just, that's the only thing they worry about. How much money this person got. I wonder if he got any credit cards. Like, come on now. Hammer, what's going on, baby? I mean, where do we go from here, honestly? Because I feel that's a real situation as far as why some people really just don't want to date. Some people don't want to take steps further because, prime example, I've seen something that came across my eyes the other day and meant to bring it up last night, but totally slipped my mind. Um, how do you only be married 30 days and then with those 30 days, you're upset because you're not a beneficiary? You just got married, number one. Number two, that person probably already had beneficiaries before you came into the mix. And if the beneficiary is a family member, you can't get mad about that. You really can't. But again, it goes to show the way you was about to be immature about it. You was only mad because of just that aspect right there. And even if he was to decide to do all that extra stuff, that still takes time to do. Time to stop focusing just on the financial gain in the marriage or anything. No. Should be worried about the future gain. The future gain is really trying to make sure you keep yourselves and keep your families in order. Like I said, when it comes to any type of relationship, it almost seems like, or even marriage, like I said, it seems like a financial contract basically. Should never feel that way. It should never really feel that way at all. Hence why I always tell people just, take your time and really scope out the people in front of you and around you. And even if you feel you might have found somebody, you got to make sure you're both on the same page. That means communication. It don't have to be financial. Just have strong communication. Love, baby, what's going on, baby? I already know if y'all just tuned to hit the like button. Um, I ain't gonna be on this all crazy, crazy, but that is a question to ask though. Where do we go from here as far as teaching values to the children and the future generations behind us? Should every generation feel that this is all about just money and financial gain, especially trying to find love and happiness? Nah, shouldn't be that way. Because you're gonna have some people that even if they think they found something, they might not be in the best of positions. Now I can see if, prime example for you fellas, I can see if the woman said something along the lines of, I want to just be that housewife, that stay-at-home housewife. Okay. Well, you already know, as long as she's taking care of everything that needs to be taken care of at home, hey, it shouldn't be no problem. Because some of y'all adamant on not letting your women work. But I've always felt like this when it comes to certain things. Look, either you both got to work or you both got to be bringing in something. Even if she stay-at-home wife, prime example, she could still have some sort of hustles and stuff going on. Like I said, you got to look at it. Liz, what's going on, baby? Got to look at it. I know some stay-at-home wives that actually still get to the bag. They're not always just depending on something, because now what if their husbands might have a short week, or what if their husbands might have things tied up because of things they don't. Prime example, some of y'all might have houses. If your man is doing what he got to do to try to keep the house in order and everything else too, then you got to essentially have something. Sometimes pockets do get tight on both ends. That's why I said it's not always just about the financials. It's more about how y'all work the financials together, and just how y'all work around each other, period. Now, now the thing with me is, again, where do we go from here? Are we going to keep continuing to spread this falsehood and this false information as far as what love should be and shouldn't be? Or are we going to tell the truth? See, again, you can't be just dependent on a man, just like you men can't be just dependent on a woman. If anything, y'all both supposed to be trying to build and grow together. You might have this, I might have this. We could put this together and make something happen. See, the problem is also is scamming. It's scamming that's making brothers not want to take the step, and vice versa. Willis, what's going on, my guy? The reason why I said I feel it should be both people that are bringing something to the table, because guess what? If I done brought damn near 90% to the table, what are you adding to that table with me? It's not trying to sound funny, because now guess what? If we do fall on hard times, we got to be able to keep each other afloat. It's supposed to be the main goal, though. Bro, what's going on, my guy? Now, going back to what I was saying not too long ago, um, this lady caught a whole tantrum, even to the point of disrespecting the man's mother. But my thing is, again, you've only been married 30 days. And even if he was going to make you a beneficiary, or he could have changed something, that still takes time. But again, if you already have beneficiaries in place, you can't get mad about nothing. Really can't. In the long haul, you still with somebody that's willing to take care of you and do whatever just in case. Pardon all the wind in the background. Yeah, it's hella windy out here in the city today. Yeah, yeah. If you hear a window crash through, somebody call my mama and them, tell them help. But no, on a real tip though, you gotta see it for what it is. It's not always going to be peaches and cream, but it shouldn't be hellfire neither. When you still are just caught up on nothing but financials and stuff, again, you miss out and lose out on key things that you didn't see before. Like some of you women might be with a man that's he might not be at that top tier level as far as work or whatever the case is, but if he's still busting his ass and trying to do the best he can, that should be the most important thing. It would be the same way if your woman was working. Let's say your woman working just the simple ass shit like McDonald's, right? Hey, something is better than nothing. See, that's the thing. And most people, again, they are only worried about solely financial. You can't get mad with somebody who's trying to lift themselves up in the game or trying to at least get themselves in a better position. And if they trying to get into a better position the way they can meet you, and that's supposed to be what counts. You make more than your man, okay, so what? At some points, he might end up making more than you, or at some point, y'all both might be making the same amount. See, like in that instance right there, okay, you might have a you might have a 401k and all that other stuff. I might not have that, but I still can hold down the fort to a degree. I still got things in order that I could put into place that can get me to where I want to be at. But if we supposed to be going on this road together, we both are going to have to come together and build each other up on the knowledge tip. Prime example, if you both want to try to invest in something, then invest it. But you got to be able to have, again, a communication and an agreement on stuff. See, I don't know. I never believed in joint accounts. I never believed in joint accounts or even stuff along those lines because, again, everybody should want to keep their financials separate. Because look how many arguments or look how many divorces probably that happen because of situations like that. We got a joint account together, but you would spend damn near the whole account on something that's not going to help y'all and now it's going to leave y'all in debt. That's just like if we got a joint account and it's $10,000 and there should be no reason why I get a statement and there's only $2,000 left. What the hell did you spend $8,000 on, and what did you spend it on without us knowing? See, I've always felt that's a way to try to separate and mess up a marriage too, or mess up any type of thing because you're putting a joint account together, but for what? Now I can see it. You put a joint account together because you got kids. You want to try to, keep some of the pressures that you might have, especially if your pockets are tight. Well, look, we're gonna have to get the kids this from this. The only way I can see yourselves having a joint account is if there's kids involved. Be no joint accounts when there's no kids involved, because guess what? It's the easy, simple way for either one to start digging in it when they feel they can't dig in a regular. It is time for some of you women again, just like it's time for some of you men to start getting the chain together. Getting that chain of command in order. Because again, you got to teach them something valuable. A man's worth, just like a woman's worth, doesn't just solely revolve around money. It revolves around a little bit of everything: personality, structure, all of that. Oh, love, baby. That's why we ain't see you, baby. Well, hope that you feeling better now. Let me say a quick healing prayer to those who need it, um, on all levels. And we that's another thing. Got to start teaching that uplifting. You know what? Even when you're going through the roughest, or even when you're going through the sickest times, got to keep your faith strong. Oh, what? Not full. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll look at that later. My fault. Something popped up on this damn citizen app, but I'm not sure that is. But yeah, come on now. When y'all teaching these youngins that it's all just about money, 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 You're gonna miss out on golden opportunities. Prime example: you're a young woman. You only focusing on this man because his pockets is tight. You might drive a good car, so on and so forth. You're only gonna be caught up in that luxury of things, but you're gonna miss out on the luxury of being with a person that probably has a great spirit, probably has a great personality. But you're not seeing that because all you're worried about is the dollar sign. Got to teach these young women better. And some of y'all out here definitely showing them the worst kind of way. I'm sorry, but you are. It seems to be like a stigma in society. But every time you try to get something back in balance, it gets unbalanced. See, some fellas is teaching these young men the same thing. Or, not to be funny, the ones that are being raised by single mothers, they are being taught by the mother how to just how to maneuver as far as when you find somebody, this is how you got to do it. This is how you got to present yourself, and this is what you present to them. Huh. Because at some point, to start feeling like a leech factor for real. There's some people again who are kicking themselves now because hey, they had something that was basically a blessing to them, bestowed upon them, and they ain't know how to receive it. Somebody else done received it. They feel upset about it. Another thing I have to teach them is stop being obsessed over things again. See, I can say that because there's some people who, the minute there's a breakup, they have an obsession. Um, Prime example, um, I could use him for example. Y'all remember Merlin Santana? Now, how many different stories then came out about his death? May he rest in peace. But one of them that always seemed to be the same was that he got shot and killed by the ex girlfriend. Now, this is my thing again. If things are over, we not even on that type of tip like that, even to a sexual point, there should be no reason why you're that obsessed. I can understand you might be upset because not with you no more, but then again, that doesn't mean you got to go to the point of just, being a stalker. Y'all need to start teaching these youngins that it's not okay to just be obsessed over somebody, even to the point of acting a fool. See, I watched a video the other week. This girl was tearing up this guy's car. Now, regardless to what the situation was, whether he was cheating or whether he broke up with you, whatever, that does not give you the right to start destroying a property. There's been situations where people have gotten you know, TVs broken, so on and so forth, clothes burned, cut. For what? Because you that upset and you're aggressed? Nah, gotta let that go. And that's really, oh man, that's a nasty character trait right there. It is. I don't think I ever got to that point of wanting to do something or do some sort of harm or trying to cause you pain. Now again, I've been seeing a lot of young women out here wilding to a degree, but guess what? You're gonna have to pay those. Gonna have to pay for those consequences. You destroyed somebody's car. You think that person don't got insurance and they ain't gonna be billing you? They going to bill you. Trust me. Or better yet, don't get mad when if he decide he want to make a report. But then again, there's some men too doing the same exact emotional thing. You're obsessed over somebody. You don't want them to be happy. So now you'll find a way to make them sad. It's corny, man. Why lose yourself because you're that emotional at that time? Here, the best method of action is just, all right, let me leave it alone. And it doesn't make no sense. It don't make no damn sense for real. You think I'm going to sit there and damage somebody's car windows, damage the whole front of their car, set fires, do things like that? No, that's going to turn around and have me sitting in jail, and for what? Just because it was an obsession. It was a moment that I felt, oh, I'm going to make this person feel like I feel. Y'all got to find better ways to deal with your anger and your dissatisfactions. It's truth, though. It's a sad thing right now because there's a lot of you young men and women out there that are you're just doing the utmost. All right, you upset, you might be hurt. That doesn't mean you start doing stuff along those lines because again, you damaging somebody's property, even things that you didn't buy. Who you think gonna pay for that? Don't catch yourself sometimes. It's not that hard to do. Think about it. You've had some issues where it's like you literally stalking somebody. Everywhere you go, they did. Even when you think they ain't gonna be there, they did. And that's borderline creepish behavior in my opinion too, on both angles. Because if I'd have left something alone, I'd have left you alone. We ain't even on no type of terms like that. Leave it be. Some people have to learn to just move on and let go. Some people would say let God and then let go. But I would just say straight up, let it go. It means you know well when you're sitting there having all that repressed anger. Again, look how many young men and women lost their lives because people just was that obsessed with them. They couldn't just leave it be. Look here, if we done had our shot at everything and it didn't go right, okay, well, we both got to move on and move forward in life, no matter what life may present us. Because while you obsessing and you stressing over one person, you could be missing out on a blessing from another person. Keymarsh, what's going on, baby? Ryder, what's going on, my guy? And appreciate you for dropping on those links, serious, baby. Out here working hard for the 99 to 8,000, baby. But come on now. And I've seen this happen on occasion. You can't leave well enough alone. And this is why we get certain situations where it becomes dire because people just don't, it's something snapped in their mind. Rooks, what's going on, baby? It is time to start teaching that value even while they're young. Teach them that value. They got to learn self-worth and self-respect anyway. They do. Because you got to have enough respect for yourself to know I'm not going to crash out just because of a moment. Now again, there's some situations where even when it comes down to, you got to teach them that even when it comes down to somebody might cheat on you, you don't got to get crazy. You don't got to sit there and lash out all wild crazy the way you do. Because again, essentially, you're going to end up paying for some of those damages. You done damage this person's car. You done damage their whole property. Shoot, some people burning houses down. Like, come on now. You gotta understand that if you everybody's gonna make a mistake when it comes down to dating. You might date some good ones, you might date some bad ones, and some you might not even get a chance to meet. But again, that's all solely dependent on you. So you can't give your all to everybody. Now, if you're gonna give your all to somebody, it better be somebody that you know for a fact you want to stay with. But even then, you would have to teach them, even at the young stages, that when it comes to love, respect, and everything else, you shouldn't have to necessarily have a violent streak on anything. You might have broke up with somebody. Okay, let me go sit somewhere here, take this time to think, get myself right, and then get back out there. Tanya, what's going on, baby? And see, and that's the sad part, Rooks. But see, this is the sad part, period. Again, that's because they are not being taught the simplest things, even like that at home. See, prime example again. I could have snapped the hell out over this breakup. I could have snapped. But I didn't snap the way most people would think because, again, it hits different. She could have probably did the same thing. But then again, when you learn to have a mutual understanding from the beginning, you tend not to have too much of that. See, the main thing is always keeping that communication line open regardless. Look here, no matter what, I just want to see you happy. And see, this is one thing. I remember a while back, a girl said something to a man about she was unhappy. He said, well, if that's the case, then you need to go on and go find happiness. I want you to go be happy. Why? Because I'm gonna be going through this pain for a little bit. This pain is gonna be too hard to bear. It might be a little longer than you expect. But in the same token, guess what? I don't want to see you miserable and unhappy if it's with me. Go find your happiness. Dawn, what's going on, baby? See, again, it's all about just catching your emotions and just detaching. Sometimes you have to detach from that anger because that anger will drive you to do things you probably wouldn't normally do. And if it's being done, then guess what? That's a problem. You have to go eventually evaluate what's more important. Me sitting in jail for a little bit you know, for things that I didn't have to do, or me just going on and try to find something better and find the blessing that I need to find. Mad, what's going on, my guy? Again, some people don't want to hear that, but you're gonna have to. There's things that you're just gonna have to accept in life. That first relationship, first love, crush, whatever it is, yeah, that might be it for that time being. But if that crush is gone, that first love is gone, it'll hurt. It'll hurt. But then again, what don't kill you only make you stronger. And that's the thing, though. See, I can say like with my first love, we was together, like I said, for 3 years. It wasn't no off and on. We was on for 3 straight years throughout the whole junior high school. It was to a point where people thought we was going to be one of those couples we see now, 40, 50, 60 years strong, but things didn't work the way it worked. She had to move and she was moving far. Hey, I had to accept that. As much as it was going to hurt to not see that person again, hey, it was nothing I could do. But it did carve a strong character in me because I realized that if you could sit there and take that, even with the difficult circumstances, you could deal with almost anything. Yellow, what's going on, my guy? Been a minute. Didi, I knew I smelled shadow hugging, baby. What's going on? What's going on? Kev, what's going on, my guy? Definitely appreciate everybody that tuned in. The link is pinned in case anybody want to chime in. Just a real open discussion about a few things. But again, start teaching them from young how to handle things in life. Even at your most emotional state, you shouldn't let that emotion take over everything. Some of you young men gonna have to get in control of your emotions too. But then I've always said this too: when they are being raised by women solely, they're gonna catch that real emotional state because they are witnessing every emotion that their moms or whoever's going But I would say again, young fellas, it's time for y'all to get in control of yourselves. Young ladies, get in control of yourselves. It's time for the men to start getting back in their kids' lives. Again, a two-parent household is better than a one-parent or a no-parent household. You need that strength and balance. See, there are things that have been destroyed because of all of these different systems and stuff. But if we eliminate that and get back to a point of having a strong unit in the house, there's some of these things where we won't really see as much. We won't see these young men and women out here just destroying each other or just destroying themselves over somebody. There's some people who feel like they're in love with somebody that much that they'll even go to the extent of even harming themselves just to prove that they love that person. But that's not the way to go, neither. That's a serious problem right there. Because I don't care. It's not that much love in the world that's going to make me harm myself or even go out there and cause danger amongst neither one of us. It's just not the way it's supposed to go. But see, when you sit here and you keep invoking that thought, this is what you're going to get. You know, it's time for them to start building a great establishment. They got to establish that strength and that character well before their time. See, again, I was young, moving fast, didn't matter. But see, I kept my mind on the swivel because I was always just being observant to what could be, what possibly could not be, and how to react if, in fact, it didn't come out to be. If it didn't come out the way I wanted, okay, no sweat. I got knocked down a little bit, picked myself up, and tried again. You have to understand this. There's not one person that's going to really make you or should make you jump out the window, even to the point again of harming or hurting yourselves. The one thing to remember is that once you start spotting out toxicities when it comes to relationships, that's when you are supposed to back all the way the hell up again. See, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is something that needs to be said and done because it's crazy. Big dog, what's going on, my guy? Again, you gotta really have a love and respect for yourself to not even put yourself out there like that. Because in the long run, in some eyes, it makes you look crazy, and you hate to hear that because this is what you hear. Yo, shorty crazy. She was doing that shit. Yo, homeboy definitely bugged out. Something wrong with his mind. What the hell wrong with him? No, 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 no. See, y'all gotta stop doing that. Another thing y'all gotta start doing, as far as just to stop having these arguments in public. Be watchful and mindful of what you're saying, even when you're having arguments. Because there'll be those arguments sometimes that draw people in there, and those people can end up getting hurt. Again, you gotta have a strong mind and say, you know what? As mad as I am right now, this ain't worth my time. This ain't worth my stress. And remember, stress is definitely one of those things that will start breaking you down. Jewel, what's going on, baby? Appreciate you, Dawn, baby. But you gotta understand this though. Um, that stress will be that stress will be definitely something you don't need, and that stress will definitely throw you off of a building. It ain't worth it. Find ways to try to, get yourself in a calm state. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it's reading the book, smoking the blunt, or doing something along those lines. Gotta understand that, look, the way the world turns, not gonna always get what you want, but you're gonna get what you need. And some people do feel like they have what they need, but then guess what? It might not be as easy as you think. Because now if things essentially go left with the person you with and everything goes sour, you at least know for a fact what you want. Word, what's going on, my guy? At least you'll know for a fact what you want and what you need. So in the event that next person come around, hey, there is no warning signs, no hidden signals, none of that. See, the one thing to remember is that you want to be a priority and not an option. And I'm speaking on both ends. You don't want to be an option. You want to be the priority. You want to be the main goal and the main prize. But you also got to remember, too, everybody is, in competition. Everybody's in competition to try to find that specific soulmate and all of that. So you're going to come across some things, Anne Marie, what's going on, baby? You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. See, again, it is all about just vetting out the best possible options. You know exactly what you want and need. Okay, now you set out to go get it. But again, it is about how you go get it. Are you going to be truthful to go get it, or are you going to lie about it to go get it? See, again, the best interest and the soul interest is happiness, right? Happiness and love. But if you with somebody right now and you don't feel that on either level, spiritually or even just you don't feel it from the soul, then that's a problem right there. That's a strong problem. Oh, hold on, hold on. Let me put some respect on this Cash App real quick. Hold on. I gotta give you the double whammy, baby. No, I don't care about it though. Yeah, you ain't gonna be giving me no copyright for your own music. We won't be doing that, baby. Appreciate you for that Cash App. But again, we gotta come back to that conclusion. You want peace, you want happiness, you want unity, at least within the confines of your relationship or even soon to be marriage. Again, you're gonna have to communicate. When somebody is feeling the type of way, you have to open your mouth and say how you feel. When you keep it hidden and you keep it stored in, at some point it starts to bother you. That's the most important thing to at least instill in yourself and try to instill in the ones behind you. Because even in your toughest moment, you shouldn't let your emotions get the best of you. And I would say it is time for some of y'all to stop doing things along the lines, whether somebody is cheating or not, right? If things are unhappy, that does not necessarily mean you start destroying these stuff. And in my all honest opinion, it's almost a sign of immaturity because again, you're letting your emotions override your thought process and your logic. At some point, you got to ask yourself, where do you go from here? You done had a bad breakup, or even if you just had a mutual breakup where both parties are good, are still having respect for each other, and still even cool. Where do you go from here? The only way I could see you going is going up further. I can see you getting yourselves up to that higher plane. Just remember, what don't kill you again will make you stronger. It's time for some of y'all to instill that in your brains. The one bad thing about obsession, even on that relationship level, when things go south, where do you go from there? Some people are doing things because they feel they need to make an example out of somebody. Or some people are doing things because they feel, again, they want them to feel that pain that they have in their heart. I've seen some people deal with the hardest of pains and walk away from it. Because again, I'm not going to allow that to destroy or even compromise my integrity as a person. See, and when you're constantly doing things on that level, it essentially stops a lot of your blessings. Because you might have somebody that actually will enjoy you for you. But if they just seeing you have a lash out moment, or they continuously seeing you having lash out moments when things don't go right, especially within your realm of a relationship, they ain't gonna want to be bothered with you. They probably might have second doubts about you. Again, it is essentially about just holding everything down the way you're supposed to. See, even down to that, right? You got people that will sit there and expose things that they shouldn't expose because in that moment they angry and they emotional. There's some things that I've always felt should just be kept right down to the bottom of your pit. Because guess what? If we didn't end over on bad terms, there should be no reason why there should be any type of anything from either end. It's the common problem now again, and this is why we have the young men and women out here just letting out the wrong type of aggressions. Fellas, again, is never acceptable on any angle, not unless you necessarily are defending yourself. But not to put your hands on no women's. But then again, you women got to stop putting your hands on men too. That's another thing you have to teach your kids. That's not the way you build with somebody. That's not the way you have a future with somebody by constantly fighting each other. No woman should feel scared for her life like she can't get away from you. And it's vice versa. Some men shouldn't feel like they had to go the extra distance just to put some distance between y'all. No, nobody should feel like they're being stalked, followed, or watched. That's the worst type of obsession to get and have. I'm so I'm so damaged. I'm so upset. I want this person to feel like how I feel right there. I want them to be as miserable as me, or even not worse. That's not doing nothing. That's not building no solid character. And again, you are essentially you're hurting your own self. That should be the question when you get to that point in stage. Where do you go from here? Well, that's a question y'all should be asking each other when you feel like it's coming towards that peak of breakup. Where do we go from here? There are going to be some disagreements you have that it actually could be deal breakers in a relationship. You never know. But even when you find out, you shouldn't be wild out. 'Cause again, it's not going to serve no purpose. It just ain't. While you busy obsessing and getting mad and even trying to hurt somebody, you are hurting yourself because you are blocking your own blessing from climbing up in the ladder. But again, all you know, it could be somebody right around that corner that has everything you want and need and will actually be that one to complete everything. Some people think they first ones are going to be they forevers. It's rare you get that. But when you solely make a decision to go a step further, now you got to think about two emotions. You got to think about two hearts. It's not just one. Again, we shouldn't have to settle for nothing. And when you do settle, you should settle in the right position. And you should be able to settle in the right direction with that same person. Essentially, the tools that you learn coming up, you're gonna have to pass it to those that's coming up. Like I said, it's time for the family dynamics to start coming back. It's needed because we're gonna keep having dire situations like that. You already know, Don baby. See, on that level right there, again, it is time to start throwing that information down the ladder the way it's supposed to. You want to see less situations like that, got to start teaching them something at home. There's some people who ain't gonna learn nothing right away. They ain't gonna learn nothing until almost too late, or they gonna learn something after they done went through what they would consider a complete downfall. You know, there's some women right now killing themselves and beating themselves up because they had something, but because they was solely just focused on the things they was focused on, they didn't get a chance to really know the person that they was with. They didn't really get a chance to let that person love them the way that they probably want to love them. So you got to remember that. I don't care how emotional you might feel at that moment. You can't let that emotion override or dictate what's going to happen. I know there's some people right now who actually went the step farther, and as far as they went, guess what? They kicking themselves right now. They literally are kicking themselves right now because they thinking, "Damn, I didn't have to do this. Damn, I didn't have to do this." But it's already too late because you done went further, and that notion of just still seeing that through, that means you honestly was already to the point where you didn't care no more. But you're always supposed to care for yourself. You're always supposed to love yourself. And love is not just a feeling, it's actions, words, everything. And some people will feel it deep on all levels. Some people might only feel it on one level. Essentially, where do you go from there? For those who already took that step and now they don't land themselves in a hot seat, where do you go from there? And what lesson did you learn? Should be an essential question that everybody asks themselves. What did you learn? I learned that I can't have things my way. I learned that things ain't always going to be my way. That's something that should be in the back of your mind. You know, start teaching your youth not just self dependency, but teach them self love and self respect. Sorry, some of you women out here teaching your kids to be gold diggers and street walkers. Sorry to say it that way. It's a small handful of you that are actually doing that. The ones that are not, they are actually doing the best they can, and they still doing the best they can. It's the way a community really is supposed to be. Speaking of communities, I would like to find out exactly where we going as a community. Now I'm gonna switch that up again because it's essentially a question we all should be asking ourselves. Where do we go from here as a community? Where do we go to basically just start being the motivation and bringing back something that's needed all around the world? Where do we go from here if we do get that? That's another question that should be asked. If we happen to be lucky and get where we need to get as far as the funds or even the blueprints, where do we go from here? Do we keep going far? Do we keep trying to open up new alleyways, or do we just stay stagnant? Hopefully, it's not to stay stagnant because, again, you want the brightest outcomes and the brightest possibilities for the future generations coming behind you. That's why I asked the other night, essentially, what the hell are we leaving those people that are going to be here well after we're gone? What kind of world message do we send? Kind of community message do we send? Do we send them a message that we was just here, we dropped the ball, or do we send them a message that we had a little snafu, but we managed to pick the pieces back up and get it back on track? You should be always asking where do you go from there, because guess what? If you have a plan in motion that you feel is going to be a strong plan and a strong executed one on top of that, gotta ask yourself essentially what tools do you need, what will you continue to need, and how will you meet these goals? Lady Shay, what's going on, baby? No doubt, Kev. You already know, my guy. Not gonna hold y'all but so much long either. Um, but again, I essentially feel like this. The more we just sit back and let things be destroyed, it's gonna be hard to try to rebuild the things we supposed to have back. Again, it's time for us to pick the ball back up and it's time to put everything in our court. We need it. There's some of you who are crying about things even on the political level, right? Okay, so where do you go from there? Do you voice your opinion? Do you actually try to vote the right people in there to get everybody else out? Like, what exactly do you think you're going to do? And if you're going to do it, hey, make sure it's carefully executed. See, we supposed to be not just the creators, but we are supposed to just be also given the best opportunities. And even showing education that even if we wasn't aware of it then, we should be more aware of it now so we could have something for future generations to speak about. One thing I can say is, again, there are some things you might have to detach. And you have to detach those because at some point they could ruin your better judgments. It could ruin whatever potential that you have. See, prime example, you got people that are already somewhat meeting their goals. And even if they met their goals or feel like they met a whole entire, a whole entire list that they made, that don't mean that list is over. The only thing you can ask is, where do I go from here? Okay, I done did half of this. Now I gotta explore myself a little bit further. You know, prime example, I'm gonna use a method of, if you just prime example, if you reached your weight loss goal for some of you, where do you go from here? Do you keep the weight down and keep it off, or do you just gain it back? That's a question that you should ask. Where do you go from there? For most people, they're going to keep the ball going. You know what? I did all of this. I got this far. It don't make no sense for me to stop the routine. If the routine has been working, let me keep continuing. When I feel I'm definitely at a desired weight, or if I'm at a desired whatever, then I'll start somewhat taking it easy. But no, I'm not going to get to a point where I feel like I got to do this necessarily every damn day. See, again, you're supposed to build a better understanding of yourself. Where do you go from there? Essentially, you answer your own question once you start making your movements, once you start thinking. The main overall thesis tonight, that should be a question that's instilled in your head no matter what aspect of life. Where do I go from here? Do I see myself rising or falling? If I rise, I got to be able to rise and rise around the right people. I got to make sure I'm around people that's going to always keep the spirit uplifted and just going to keep the motivational aspect of me driving. If I decide to go downhill, then I'll let every little thing, every little evil, every little negative comment, so on and so forth, render me helpless. You should never feel helpless in life, no matter what it is you're doing. You should never even put that down in your mind, regardless. Key factor from here on is just be strong. And I would say that's what a lot of us need to do, even on this community tip. You got to start staying strong. When you not keeping yourself strong, you can't expect everybody to keep you strong either. Again, essentially, it is up to you and how you move it. You might have a financial idea that it could take off, but you'll never know if you don't put that foot forward. Yeah, sometimes you might have to take risk in life you might not necessarily want to take. But don't think for a minute that if you don't take it, you won't succeed. You probably could. See, it's time for self reflection, and then we have to start taking responsibility. See, again, like, what essential message do we leave to those future generations? If we sit back and allow the things in the world, even right now, to crumble in front of us, what are we essentially leaving them? Anita, what's going on, baby? Jersey, what's going on, my guy? See, now that question of where do we go from here, it's a general statement. And that's on all levels. I could have had an argument with you, right? Or we could have been having an argument. Now, where do we go from here after we done had our words out? Are we going to squash it and and just keep it pushing, or are we going to be mortal enemies every day? I prefer you not to be a mortal enemy because I know at some point one of y'all are going to make the damn move to try to eliminate. The only thing you should be trying to eliminate is the negativity from around you. Eliminate the you can't situation. You can do damn near anything you put your mind to. You can achieve damn near anything if you put your mind to it. Like prime example, where do we go from here as far as again bringing the educational level to the youngins? We still find out things left and right now. I just watched a video with this guy. I guess he must have been exploring or he must have found one of them old pyramids. But when he walked in there, all you seen was it looked like encased caskets. And guess what was in there? Nothing but the melanated kind. They reached that motherland. But I guess he did that because it was a statement that was said that, you know, the Caucasians wasn't trying to be Africans. Something along those lines. I got to remember what exactly was said. But when he looked in there, look, all you seen was who you seen in there. See, everything does come back full circle, prime example. Where do we go from here if we find new information? Do we sit on it or do we spread it out to the world? Where do we go from here if we create an invention that definitely could be a game changer for the people? See, some people are always just going to settle for the money because that's just what it is. The money speaks louder than the words, or it speaks louder than the actions, right? If you have invested your time and your energy into something, and you feel you're not being, or you're not feeling that accomplishment, or you feel like you're not, hearing the numbers you really want to hear, especially if you plan on either selling that product, you got to go back to the drawing board. And if some people are trying to lowball you as far as what they think you should get for that, then you ship your ideas elsewhere. And if not, hey, you stay independent and do what you need to do until somebody do decide, all right, you know what? I like the ingenuity. I like the fact that despite whatever, you didn't quit. You still kept pushing. Come on, I might have something for you. Maybe we could work together on something. And if you do, again, get to that playing field or that part right there, where do you go from there? Do you fumble the bag or do you try to keep ways of keeping the bag consistent? If that's what you're really in the notion for. See, again, I've always felt it's just a blessing to not just be here, but it's a blessing to try to create anything that you know is definitely going to be a game changer. Never sell yourself short. I stress that because, again, you should never feel like you're less than. You are supposed to have a humbleness about yourself, but you're also supposed to keep yourself on a high thinking level. Nets, I see you in here again, baby. Essentially, at some point, I think most of people will start to grasp on the things that are being said, even if it's not being said this way. Because again, we have bigger problems to deal with. Stress and drama, especially with things that you really shouldn't stress and obsess over, that becomes the problem because you lose focus. You can have an obsession, like I said, the good obsessions are always going to be good ones. You could be obsessed with definitely trying to change the world in more ways than one. But don't let the obsession become an evil one because you might implement something that you think could be good. It could look good in your eyes. It could be only benefiting you, but does it benefit everybody else? Where do we go from here if we decide we all want to try to get into our own lane of things? Where do we go? I only said the only place I see people going is high up. Sometimes you might fall down before you reach that high plane, but hey, that's just the lessons in life. It's going to carve out character, and then it's also going to give you something to go back and redraw. Okay, you know what? This didn't work around this time, but if I implement it at this time and then add this, maybe this could, this could work. Letitia, what's going on, baby? And again, I definitely appreciate you for dropping all those links. Serious, baby. Been out here working hard for the 99 to 2000, baby. That's the elevated mind you should have. The only place I could see myself going from here is up. On a community level, there are people who are trying to, do the simplest things, like again, even during these holidays, trying to give back to those who definitely need it. Now, see, some of y'all are going to even ask yourselves that same thing. Where do I go from here? Do I want to continue to do this every year, or do I want to try to do this more than every day? You have some people who, prime example, they are doing those meals on wheels, delivering food and things of that nature to people who can't really get out and about, or to even some of the older folks. See, and I believe most of that came into play because guess what? There are people who don't have immediate family. There's some people who are definitely, by themselves. Or they might be probably one of the last ones, or if not the last ones, as far as family is concerned, period. If you're doing something that's not just from the bottom of your heart, but just from the kindness of your spirit, where do you go from there? Do you continue to do that? continue to uplift, or do you just stop it where it's at? Essentially, making the right decisions will definitely put you in the best positions. You might be in a phase where you feel like nothing is going right for you, might feel like giving up, but you should never give up. Take yourself to not just a safe comfort zone, but just get your spirit back in order. You might have the people in the world that are throwing things at you that is becoming to be too much to bear, but there's never too much that you can't bear. Where do you go from here if you want to see a better outcome? You got to build, and you got to build the best possible thing you could think to build. Build structure and strength, build courage, but also build education and on a unity factor. If we all decide to come together to start bringing back programs that are needed, prime example, right? Where do we go from there? Are we going to continue to try to bring those out so we can show the world the difference, or do we just let it fall? There's a lot of things that we know we can't change ourselves. It has to be changed within the system. Then there are other things that we ain't got to go that hard to do. We ain't got to go that far, or we ain't got to outreach that far to do it. We got to want to do it. We might have some indifferences, but again, when it's coming to building back up your community, should our personal differences really be a problem? I don't like you because you might do this. I don't like you because you might be a little more popular than me. Okay, well, our community is messed up right now. We got this going on. Okay, so where we go from here? 'Cause at some point, even the most unlikable people will agree on certain things, especially when you know it's just on the right accord. Keep that option open. Always remember that. Keep that option open. There are enemies right now that can't stand each other, but they'll come together if it's for something beneficial, especially if they all got kids or they might be guardians. I'm telling you, where do we go from here? Do we put our ideas on the table and then we push the game forward, or do we let them just sit on the table? Just a little food for thought for the night. From the relationship aspect, you should know what you want and what you need, what you're willing to accept and what you're not going to accept. From a community aspect, it's the same thing. You should know what you want, should know what you need. But essentially, you should ask yourself, where do you go from here? I think it really is time for the world to start shedding light on things, or we shed the light on things. Because again, we are still finding out new information. And in my opinion, we are finding out information even to the point where, look here, if some of y'all really think the world is 2023 years old, start digging in your books, because there are things here that are well older than the time frame. that they got this world as. There's certain artifacts right now that look like it probably could have been here longer than that. Again, people are finding all sorts of new information, not just through world travels, even within their communities, they finding things. But essentially you have to do a timeline, a mapping of if this is real if this is real artifacts, if this is real information that could be used, and if it is, what platform or you know, what kind of avenue do you use to try to bring that info to the world? And again, I believe apps like even this could be beneficial, despite everything that's going on as far as censorship and stuff is like that concerned. But even when you can't bring certain things here, you got other platforms or other alleyways to make things work. Mitten, what's going on, baby? I think every time we do come across some sort of valuable information, and when it's factual, yeah, bring that out. Spread that knowledge to the world because again, they need it. And I'm sorry, would you want the future generations to be, you know, dumb and out of touch? Or would you want them to keep on what we was trying to strive to achieve? Greatness. You want them to see greatness. So I essentially asked tonight, where do we go from here? As a community, as a whole, where do we go from here? Do we allow the world to crumble in front of our eyes? Or do we grab what we can grab and start rebuilding the way we supposed to? Appreciate you, Mitten, baby. But see, I wouldn't really even consider this preaching. I would just consider this me just giving a logical output and a logical conversation to the public because it's general things that affect everybody. Where do we go from here to try to correct the school system? Where do we go as far as just trying to show the youth and show everybody else behind us that the world could be a happier, safer place? We know there's some things that it's just going to be around for centuries because it's already been seen, but it wasn't as bad as it is now in this generation because essentially everything that's being taught is still a learned pattern and a learned behavior that it's not working for us. It's not helping us. Where do we go from here as far as trying to restore not just moral values, but just core principles? There are things that, again, should never just be accepted or tolerated. And the minute you still continue to tolerate it, you're still setting that cycle around. Prime example, that cycle of violence on any level, it should at least come to some sort of suppression because not every moment has to turn into a violent moment. I mostly feel that no matter what is being thrown at us or what's trying to keep us separated, at some point, we ain't going to be separated no more. So again, I essentially ask, where do we go from here? Do we move the chain and move this vehicle forward into greatness? into prosperity, or do we lead it to destruction? We already had enough destruction. And I can honestly say within the last 20 years, things have significantly changed as I sit back and look and reflect on the life that I'm living, life that I've been living. And I realized that, yeah, this world has definitely it's come to a lost state. Yeah, we kind of lost our way, but I believe most of us can gain it back. Again, essentially, it is up to us to carry that torch into the future. And if we ain't carrying it with enough fire, passion, and strength, our fire gonna go out. It is time again to take the reins. And I'm gonna keep repeating that part every chance I get. Time for us to really take the reins. Internet, what's going on? What's going on? If we want to see a brighter future and a brighter path on things, we essentially have to stand together. And the more we allow these divisional tactics, the more we allow the messed up code and ethics to be a problem for us, we ain't gonna never correct anything that we need to correct. And before I do get up out of here, I do want to again say I appreciate everybody that's been a part of this growth. I want to appreciate everybody that has just kept the brother solid. See, again, without y'all, there is no me. I could have been sitting on here just talking to myself. But then essentially, at some point, I wouldn't have been talking to myself because I still believe in a message that is needed to be brought all around the world. We got to start doing better. And I think we can. It's going to take a while, though. But in the process of things, we still got to ask that main question. When we do get to a common logic and a common goal, where do we go from here? And I'm not going to hold y'all all night neither. I know most of y'all got work in school, and most of y'all getting prepared travel wise. And I also want to say before anything, I'm wishing everybody a early happy holidays. Hopefully y'all enjoy yourselves. You stay blessed, family. Anti, what's going on, baby? Hopefully y'all keep yourselves, spiritually blessed, less stress, and just love every moment of it. For those who might have just been tuning in, y'all know y'all could catch this replay. But I hope what I said tonight at least resonated with some. Shape the world better. We shape our ideas better. But we need to come together and start sharing those ideas. There might be things that you might not even know could work. You'll never know if you just keep yourself divided. On that note, I'll definitely be back tomorrow with the good old festivities. I'll be back for the morning site, definitely. And I appreciate everybody that tuned in earlier for the Twitch live stream. We was in there rocking out, baby. It's always a blessing, as always, to come in here and bring some good positivity and just bring some good words to the people. And now I know some days I might not sound like this, but some of y'all pretty much know why. But Most of the time, you're just going to get a great conversation. Less stress, less headaches. And that's the way I'm going to continue to keep it. And for those who might be building here, who might come across here, guess what? This is still a solid ground where you could come, build, grow, be yourself. No judgment, no nothing. Because again, I don't got time to be judging. I'm focusing on building one way or another. Even if it is just building back up the confidence and the strength from everybody left and right. And I'll do so. I feel good doing it. I'm doing it from a place right here. Supposed to do that. Again, essentially, I want the question to be asked. Where do we go from here? Really is time to start kicking out more than what we kicking out. We got to kick out everything that's killing our communities and start implementing and bringing back the things that had us strong and had us at the highest peak. In some neighborhoods you go into that just don't even look like neighborhoods no more. And then there are some people who are going to see that and going to try to change that. You might not be able to change everything right away, but even the smallest changes lead to the greatest impacts. Just remember that part. And on that note, I'm gonna definitely let y'all ride out. Um, like I said, I'll definitely have this site in the morning for y'all, and I'm gonna see if I don't do a live stream tomorrow night, I could just bring something on that Twitch. So again, for those who ain't following me, make sure y'all download that app. You definitely want some good uninterrupted fun, come to Twitch. It's always gonna be not just great conversations, but great builds, whether people hit the panel or not. See, again, I'm just going to move in the light that I'm supposed to move in. And wherever that light takes me, I'm happy that I went there. And I'm happy that I was still able to build and grow and meet some great people. But again, hopefully y'all enjoy your holiday week. You still might get some things throughout the week with me, don't worry. But you know you're going to always have some fun and just never have to worry about changing yourself or compromising yourself or sacrificing yourself for something. Most I expect from y'all is just to sit down for the conversation. So, we got better things to do and we're going to keep doing better things. That drama ain't going to be one of them. So, if some of y'all thinking this is going to be a drama channel, some of y'all think this is going to be a beef channel, or think somebody's going to be making content back and forth about people, yeah, this ain't the channel for you. Go find a place like that and go enjoy yourself. I'm gonna continue to build with the right people and build the right conversations because we need it. But let me get up out of here. Definitely appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all evenings. I'll definitely see some of y'all running around these streets. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. Everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and to be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real builds. Like I said, I definitely see some of y'all running around. I think I did get some notifications that they actually working today. Notifications is actually kind of working today. Oh. Don't encourage my pettiness, y'all. I'm just surprised all these damn notifications that popped in, but I'll definitely see some of y'all later on. Y'all stay safe, keep that third eye open, and until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.